When you look at this 2026 team, I don't know if there is one bigger X factor for this Mets team than Kodai Senga. A lot of expectation with the way things were going after last season that he wouldn't be back. He is back. He wanted to be back, expressed that to David Stearns, not to trade me. That's what he said. And the Mets, for now, obliged him. And I do think if he can get back to any semblance of consistency, it changes the entire dynamic of this rotation.
Yeah, and it's obvious why he is that X factor. We've had 3 years of Kodai Senga now. We've seen him as one of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball. We've also seen him at times when he's been unusable. So the range of outcomes is as wide as it is for any player in the league. The Mets realize that, and I think Kodai Senga, hearing him talk today, hearing him speak to the media for the first time this spring, you get the sense that maybe a little bit of this confidence is down a little bit. And he was asked that directly, has your confidence taken a hit? And while he didn't exactly say yes, he did respond and say that he knows what he needs to do to get back to being that pitcher. And he said, I've just got to go do it. So you're getting a little bit of a different tone from Kodai Senga, I think. It's not a given that he's in the opening day rotation, but certainly if he looks the part in spring, he can be, should be, and will be. So it's just a different type of camp for Kodai Senga who, yeah, to us, to Mets officials, to everyone out there, he has to go out there and prove it.
He said that he had one goal this spring, and that was to stay healthy. Yeah. We know how much health with him in particular is something that's not just physical at times, but mental. And I do think it will be interesting to see what the Mets decide to do if all of their starters remain healthy through spring, because you've got 6 legitimate Major League starters in that case, and maybe they do go with a 6-man rotation to maintain that health of Kodai Senga and others. The other piece of pitching, I don't know if it's news, but something worth discussing right now is the non-roster invitee, which is Craig Kimbrel, right?
Never heard of him.
In the back end of that bullpen, and I don't think that a lot of people have talked about him, but the Mets are intrigued by the potential of what he could bring to the back end of this pen. I know you had a chance to speak to him today as well.
Yeah, and you talk about X Factor. This is another guy who the range of outcomes is out of baseball to dominant reliever. I mean, it could really be that and anything in between. I did speak to Craig Kimbrel today, and he was confident about his chances. He felt good about his stuff. One thing he didn't mention that Carlos Mendoza did was this changeup that has been a relatively new pitch for Craig Kimbrel. I mean, this is a guy who went a Hall of Fame career without one, but now you're at age 37, you're looking for different ways to get hitters out. Could that changeup be the thing that keeps him in the league? The Mets aren't necessarily banking on it, but if you do have a healthy Craig Kimbrel who has another weapon, who is able to get big league hitters out, all of a sudden the back of that bullpen, it just looks different. You don't have that rock at the end in Edwin Diaz that you've had in years past. You've got Devin Williams, who should be close to it, and you've got some other setup men that you brought in. But having Craig Kimbrel, even if he is the 6th inning guy, the 7th inning guy, could make a big difference. One thing that I took away from my conversation with Kimbrel was that he is still burning to pitch. He still loves this. He loves imparting wisdom on some of the younger pitchers in that bullpen. And he wants to do this because at age 37, if he didn't want to do it, he'd be at home right now.
Going to be a brand new look bullpen. Will it include Craig Kimbrel? Only time will tell. He's Anthony DiComo. I'm Steve Gelbs. Send it back to you.
All right, fellas, we thank you both. I'm going to have to see it to believe it when it comes to Craig Kimbrel, to see if he has anything left at this point. I do want to go back to Kodai Senga here. What do you think, Jim? I'll start with you. What do you think his role is going to be on this team?
Well, listen, I think when you see your names mentioned over the winter in trade talks, both he and David Peterson, you're on notice, really, that your job is in jeopardy potentially if you don't pitch well. And I think he understands that. He's going to have to pitch well in the spring. I agree with what Steve said. Like, listen, if he's pitching well, I think he is in the rotation. His numbers certainly, showed that. And when he's had 5 days rest or 6 days rest, 48 out of 52 starts, and it's a 2.86 ERA.
Yep.
So, it's really, really good when he's on the mound. So I think health is going to be a huge part of this. Getting his confidence back will be too.
Well, he's got to locate that fastball because it sets up that ghost fork, right? And he could not find that. We're in mid-season form here. We haven't gone to Florida yet, which we'll do for next week's show. But Liz, Steve mentioned it there a moment ago. Very nicely done, guys. If everybody does stay healthy and they have these 6 guys, and that doesn't include Christian Scott or Jonah Tong, do you go with a 6-man rotation out of camp?
Yes, and I think that you do that for several reasons. First, you have a 9-game stretch right out the gate, and so it would be nice to give guys an extra day rest in there. But also, it's good for the health of Kodai Senga, and you want to set him up for success, too. At spring training, fine, challenge him, but when it gets to the season, you want to win games, you set him up for success, and that is what he's been used to.
Right.
It will also help guys like McClain, I think, as they still get used to the big league schedule.
Sure.